got a new addition to mi coche, mi carro. Got it from an Oglala Sioux artist, and she said it's a medicine wheel. I just like it because it's got the 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants for, just start making the list. You got the 4 quadrants of the zodiac wheel. You start right there at Aries, and then we'll start working your way around. You could do it that way. That's how I like to do it, because that way you've got the equinoxes, with the horizontal line, the solstices with the vertical line. You could also say this is like the Gnostic wheel, with the perimeter being the external physical realm where we find ourselves. The radiuses going towards the center being the individual souls, or the psychic, as in the psyche level of existence, or of ascension, initiation, whatever you want to call it. And then arriving at the center, being the pneumatic level of initiation, or ascension, to like the equivalent of the Ein Sof, I think, the mind of God, the center, God itself. You can't even talk about it because it's indefinable. There's no words. But yeah, I like. That's why I like the cross too. The cross it's a cross. It's symbolic, cross within a circle. But I'm trying to drive. I just stopped at a fast food Mexican restaurant. Not Taco Bell, not Taco John's, not Taco Tico, not, it's called, I'm not even going to mention it, actually. I'm going to leave their name off. But it's the best fast food Mexican food I've ever had. And it was Taco Tuesday, so I got 5 tacos. But they have the best salsa. I placed my order, do the money transaction with mi tarjeta de crédito, and I'm telling the guy after he runs my card that I have a punch card somewhere and I'm trying to find it in my wallet. I got a stack of crap inside my wallet, and so I'm like pulling it out, going through all this stuff, and all of a sudden I find it, and as I go to hand it to him, he said, "Oh, I already punched this one," and he hands me a punch card that's got. And I'm looking at my punch card, and it's got 1 punch on it. And he says, "I already punched this one. I can only punch 1 per day." And he hands me another punch card that's got like almost all of it punched. There's like 1 left to punch. And I said, "Oh, okay." And I'm just thoroughly confused, thinking like, what? And then I thought, oh, he's just being super cool. Like, he's just being really nice, and just punched it a whole bunch of times, just to be like a nice human. And I said, okay, well, thanks a lot. I was appreciative and didn't ask any more questions, because I guess why. And I put it in my wallet, and I put my stuff on a table, and I start ladling up their delicious salsas. And as I'm doing that, a lady comes in who had apparently ordered before me and then went outside and did something. Now she came back in to get her order, and she says to the guy working behind the counter, "Young man, did I leave my card up here on the counter?" And he said, I don't know. What do you mean? What card? A credit card?" And she said, "No, like my punch card." And that's all happening behind me as I'm ladling delicious salsas into cups. And I said, "Oh, I bet he gave that to me. I think I have that." I was confused, and here, I can get it out of my wallet. And she said, "Oh no." She said, "You keep it. Blessings. Happy Tuesday." And I said, "What? No, I'll get it out for you." And she insisted that I keep it. I tried to insist that I give it back several times, and she insisted that I keep it. So eventually, I learned this lesson as a little kid. We went to the farm to see Grandma and Grandpa, where Mom came from. They worked hard all their lives and didn't have a lot of money. They acquired quite a bit of land. They were just real frugal and hardworking. They were farmers. That's the definition. And as a little kid of elementary school age, probably, third grade or something like that. My grandpa took me in his truck and we went into town. He stopped at like a gas station and gave me some money and told me to go in and get myself a treat, a snack. And he stayed in the truck. And I said, okay. Well, I was proud of myself for having brought my own money. And so I paid for the stuff with my own money, like a young man. And when I got back to the truck, I gave my grandpa his money back, thinking he's going to be so proud of me, because, I'm like, I don't know, I just thought he'd be proud of me for using my own money and not taking his money. And he looked pissed. Like, what the hell's wrong with, like, why wouldn't you just let your grandpa buy you a snack, And it was really confusing to me. I felt really bad. I felt dumb. He didn't say anything, I don't think. He let me give him his money back, and it was just real awkward and dumb, and I felt, I did not feel like he was proud of me at all. And I told my mom about it later on. Like, it was like I killed the mood, I killed the little outing, and I felt bad inside, and I thought I was supposed to feel good. And told my mom about it, and she said, well, sometimes, you just want to let people do something nice for you. If someone's trying to do something nice for you, just let them do something nice. I thought, okay. And I think, without getting too deep here, I do think this whole thing stems from having a childhood where I was made to feel like I didn't deserve to, like, feel good or something. But I'll leave that for some other time. Anyway, that's always kind of stuck with me. And so this lady insisting that I keep her punch card, I thought, well, okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And she said, I appreciate you being honest. And she starts complimenting me, thanking me for being honest, and it's nice to see someone being honest, and she wants to reward that. And I said, well, gosh, we gotta do, thanks. I just said thanks. And I ate my tacos, and they were delicious. And I was kind of thinking while I was eating my tacos, though, that this is the kind of thing that, like, a universal type of vibe or philosophy or religion, whatever you want to call it, fosters in people. That kind of selflessness, that kind of giving to others. And we didn't look anything alike. I'm white of German descent. She was older than me. She's black. And none of it matters. We were just being kind to each other, and we were both and she sat there while I was eating, and we were visiting about the value of the place. We talked for a while. So we had a conversation, and we were just being like civil human beings and kind to each other, and it was just a back and forth of simple kindness. And then after she left, I was just kind of thinking how she's probably Christian. I'm sort of Christian. I mean, and I just think it fosters that. It fosters that kind of selflessness and giving. And it was all done with smiles and laughs. We were laughing, and it was just good feeling. It was just a good feeling in the little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. And, the guy working behind the counter, he was in on it too. He saw the whole thing go down. Everyone was happy and helpful, and he gave her, he did. He said, I'll get you a new card, when he realized she wasn't going to let me give hers back. And he said, I can only punch it once though. And she said, I don't want one punch, I want 6. Like, make it like the one that I just gave away. Since it's just a hole, just punch the card, it's so easy. But the guy was stingy with the puncher, but he did give her one extra punch, which made me feel guilty all over again. But I was just thinking how a universal religious message or philosophic message that teaches that we're all the same, we shouldn't judge each other, we should forgive, we should be loving, we should be kind, all those things, all those Christian stereotypes, they are found in other religions as well, but put into this universal modern day, well, we have it available today as something very accessible. Just foster that kind of selfless, kind behavior. It makes you want to look to do good. And then I thought about my time in the Jewish world and pursuing Orthodox conversion there, and I was thinking to myself, I feel like I got far enough into it, I could see where I was headed. I could feel the trajectory. I started to get a feel for the community and the whole dynamic there and different people in it. I feel I got deep enough in it, long enough that I started to feel that kind of thing within that world. I started to feel something really special, really, really spiritual, really lofty, real godly, frankly. And it would just kind of make you pause and soak it up. It was a beautiful thing. And as I'm sitting there thinking about this, I'm thinking, but it was like we had the best kept secret in the world. It was for Israel only. It was for other people. It was for other Jews. And not that you weren't, genial and polite. Of course you are polite and kind and normal and everything outside of the community, but there is something real tangible between you and the others who are in the same boat. And I was sensing that, feeling that. I had someone ask me if I'd started feeling it yet, and I knew what they were talking about. Man, if I could start to sense that and feel that, I can only imagine what it must be like to be born into that world and that sense of family. I mean, I don't know if anyone looks out for each other like the Jews. I don't know if there's any other group that really looks out for each other like Jews do. It's like nothing I've ever seen. And that is real. I mean, you could even say to a fault, if you wanted to. You could say, like, come on, guys, draw the line somewhere. Stop letting people like Madoff just, come back to safety and security. That doesn't look good. It looks terrible, actually. Bankman-Fried. I was just thinking about it, how interesting it is to, like, take that sense of family and protection and help and kindness and wink wink, I'll help you out, I got your back, we're in this, we're in the same boat here. We get each other, and you apply that on a universal scale, dude, that changes the world. And it's sad that the history had to play out the way it did. It's too bad. I mean, if the whole movement could have stayed in that Gnostic phase, or if the whole movement could maybe clean up the problems that have been incorporated into the religion, and get back to a Gnostic basic, man, it could be so beautiful all over again. But even as it is, you just have people oftentimes being kind, being nice to each other, and they don't care what religion you are. They don't care how you're dressed. They don't care what you look like. They don't care what your skin color is, what gender you are. They might not even care what your lifestyle's like. I mean, and you could say to a fault there too. might even get themselves hurt trying to be so kind. But it is a nice universal attempt at making the world a better place. So yeah, be a good person.